Yesterday I went to the grocery store and they had this 18-ounce package of blueberries on sale for, it was a little over $2, which is about half the normal price. So I thought this would be a good time to make this blueberry rhubarb crumble dessert. This recipe is foolproof. I think even little kids could do this with no problem. It's about the easiest thing you could probably ever try to put together, and it comes out great every time. So let me show you what all's involved here. Okay, for our filling we're going to use that 18-ounce package of blueberries and one frozen package of rhubarb. This is a 1-pound package, or 16 ounces. It was frozen, but it's thawed out now. We're going to use 2/3 of a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then for our crust, we're going to use 3/4 of a cup of this baking mix. This is just kind of like Bisquick. We're also going to use about 1/3 of a cup of sugar, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, 1/3 of a cup of cold unsalted butter that we're going to cube up and mix in with the crust. And we've got 1/2 cup of old-fashioned oats and 1/2 cup of either chopped or sliced almonds. So let's get started. Okay, I've started by washing the blueberries really well and making sure there's no stems attached. So next we're going to add about 2/3 of a cup of sugar into this bowl here. And we'll save the rest of it for the crust. And then we go with 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. And 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And we'll mix that around real good here. Okay, next we're going to add in our blueberries and the rhubarb. Okay, let's mix that up really well here. Okay, that looks pretty mixed up. You may notice it looks a little bit runny at this point, but that's okay because with all that cornstarch in there, it's going to form kind of a gelatin consistency when it refrigerates overnight in the refrigerator. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put this in a glass pie pan here. As soon as I grease the pie pan with a little bit of butter, and I'm just going to do this with my fingers. Okay, and let's just pour this whole thing in there. And kind of spread it out a little bit. Okay, so now for the crust. Okay, this is going to be the bowl for the crust here. We've got 3/4 of a cup of that baking mix in here. So we're going to add in that remaining 1/3 of a cup of sugar and 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And combine that up pretty well. Next we're going to cut up this butter and use this little dough utensil here to kind of crush it up into further small pieces and blend it in with the baking mix. Okay, that's cut up pretty good. We're going to go ahead and blend that in here with the baking mix. Next we'll add in our half cup of oats and mix that around pretty well. And also our half cup of sliced almonds. Just give that a good stir. Okay, that looks pretty stirred up here. And that's all there is to the crust. So now we're just going to sprinkle this over the filling here. Kind of spread it out as much as we can. Okay, and we're ready to pop this into a 375-degree oven for about 40 to 45 minutes. I'm going to put this on a baking sheet first in case there's any bubble overs. We don't want to make a big mess in the oven. Okay, it's time to take this out of the oven. And it's really bubbling and looks volcanically hot. I'm going to let it sit here and cool on this wire rack for a little bit, and then I'll refrigerate it overnight, or at least for 6 to 8 hours. And it's a good thing that we put this baking sheet underneath it, because there were a few spillovers on the sides of this, so we saved ourselves from having to clean up the oven doing it that way. So we're just going to let this cool for a little bit and see what it looks like then. Okay, this has been cooling for a while here. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the fridge to cool overnight. But it's come out nice and goldeny on the top. You can tell there's a lot of blueberry in there. This would be good with vanilla ice cream or some kind of whipped topping like whipped cream or Cool Whip. Okay, thanks for watching.